I recently had the opportunity to interview Andrew Wexler, the CEO of Herschend Enterprises, the largest family-owned themed attractions corporation in the country. I was there to give Herschend Enterprises a goBeyondProfit award, recognizing Herschend's tremendous corporate generosity. And as we presented this award, Andrew started talking about what he felt like was the key to Herschend's success. And he said a word that you don't hear in business very often, and that's love. And so I asked Andrew to expound on that, and how do you go from love being kind of this thing that sounds good to actually operationalizing it and making it part of your day-to-day business? Andrew told a very moving story that I think not only exhibits how important it is for us to care for each other, but the incredible value that that creates. Not many people know Herschend.
Yes.
Right? They know, a lot of people know your brands.
Yes.
That are out there, but not many people know Herschend, and it's a great story of just the history of the business. So maybe just tell us the story.
Yeah, absolutely. It started 70 years ago, which is amazing to me to think of the legacy that I'm a part of now. But 70 years ago, Hugo and Mary Herschend moved down to Branson, Missouri, Southwest Missouri, and fell in love with the area and took over a cave tour, and that's how it all started as a cave tour. Slowly over time, the crowds got so long that they needed to build a theme park, Silver Dollar City, to accommodate all the people, and that was really the beginning. But Mary and Hugo really instilled in their two boys, Jack and Pete, who we consider our patriarchs, who are now in their 80s, a way of doing business that was different. It was about caring for everybody involved, the community, the employees, and definitely the guests and the consumer. But it was really a different way of doing business, and that became the foundation of our culture, which we call Leading with Love, and it's been extremely successful. Now we have 26 locations in 8 different states, and we continue to grow, and what we'd like to do is evangelize our culture.
So you just used this phrase, Leading with Love, and I want to dig into that a little bit, because first of all, not many businesses will even say the word love,
right?
Much less it really talk about it often. And that's really a key part of what you guys talk about all the time. So talk about that phrase and kind of what that means.
Yeah, well, love is literally a 4-letter word, especially as a business, but we're not talking about that type of love. Love's a complicated word. In fact, the Greeks had 4 words for love. Eros, which is one most people think of, and that's the emotional love that you have for your spouse or significant other. And then you have Philos, brotherly love, Philadelphia, that you have for those that are close to you, that you want to take care of them and you have their back, but it's a relational type of love. And then you have Storge, which is parental love, the love you have for your child, nurturing. And all those are emotions, they're feelings. But the 4th type of love is called agape love, and it's love, the action. It's a verb. It's a choice you make. And so we found our culture really in the action of love. And so we commonly say love in action to describe how we want people to behave and treat each other. And so we built a culture founded on servant leadership. We call it Leading with Love, and it's really rooted in this word called love.
So somebody may hear that and they go, okay, that's great. So we're going to be nice to each other and kind of love each other and whatever. But how does that really operationalize, right? So if I'm a customer showing up at one of your aquariums or a theme park or a Harlem Globetrotters game or whatever, like how do I actually experience to see that?
Yeah, it's interesting because the company's been around 70 years, and it started with Jack and Pete, and it was easy for people to understand what this meant because they could see Jack and Pete every day. It's based on their actions, how they treated each other. They were role models. But as we grew and geographically expanded, people weren't able to see Jack and Pete every day. And so my predecessor, Joel Manby, wrote the book literally called Love Works, and he helped codify, created a language that we use to talk about leading with love. And really creating that common language so people know what we're talking about. And then when I became CEO, I felt like my purpose was to make sure it's real and authentic. And so I commissioned a book to collect all the stories that have occurred over the years of where they are examples of how we've loved our guests, our communities, each other, our employees, and so that people know what that means, because that's really the key, is making sure it's authentic, but people need to know how they have permission to do things that would allow them to be perceived as caring for or choosing to act in a way that was uplifting or loving of another person. An example, Dollywood is a great example. This happened when I was CFO, and I'll never forget how proud I felt the moment I read about this story. But one of our hosts came upon a family. It was a father and 2 kids, and they were clearly distraught. And obviously, people come into our parks, we want to make sure they're having a fun time. So she walked up to them and said, what's wrong? Is there something I can do to help you? And they said, well, we didn't have enough money for the whole family to get in, and so mom is in the car. And this employee just knew that this was the antithesis of what we were trying to achieve. And so she took the family to the front gate, got their money refunded for the tickets, had the dad call mom to come meet him at the front gate, let them in for free, and gave them their money back from the original ticket purchase so they could have money to spend throughout the day. And that's just an example of somebody being empowered to take care of somebody else. Even though financially in the moment that's probably not the best thing to do, I think in the long run, we're going to see great returns from that type of action.
So there's so much good in there. One of the things I hear in talking to leaders is, how do you take some of these concepts, these values, and all right, how do you actually scale that, right? And you hit so much in that of leaders, helping them understand what it is, empowering people with the ability to actually make those decisions. It is just incredible, and it's things that can happen in every business, but you got to be purposeful about it, right? You no longer in the days where people just be around the founders and they just pick it up. Now you got to be purposeful about it.